Coming to you from the home of Franklin's finest, this is the APB Podcast. Here now is Franklin Police Public Information Manager, Max Winitz.
Episode number 12 of the APB Podcast. We have reached that 12 mark. Hi there, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. On the show today, we are sitting down once again with Franklin Police Chief Deb Faulkner. You may remember she was the guest on our inaugural show several months ago discussing her career, her life, and everything happening here at the Franklin Police Department. Well, it has been a few months and we have lots of new and exciting things to talk about, so we are going to find out the very latest in our conversation with her. That will be in just a few moments, but first, let's get to the news headlines. This week, Franklin police officers are taking part in specialized dignitary protection training led by Asset Security Services. From responding to motorcade threats to engaging in hand-to-hand combat scenarios, our officers are receiving this real-world hands-on instruction designed to prepare them for high-risk protective missions. It's the fourth time the police department has participated in the elite training over the years, and it's really a testament to our ongoing commitment to readiness and excellence in every situation. The photos you're seeing right now, if you're watching the podcast on the city's YouTube channel, had a chance to snap those yesterday out at this training. Really, really fascinating, and it is certainly great to see our officers participating in this elite training. All right, when we come back, Chief Deb Faulkner is joining us once again here on the podcast to discuss the latest and greatest here at the Franklin Police Department. What is she really looking forward to over the next several months? The answer on the other side of this break.
Are you ready to make a difference in your community? The Franklin Police Department is seeking dedicated, passionate individuals who want to protect and serve in the South's most charming town. As a member of our internationally accredited team, you'll be part of a dynamic, supportive department that values integrity, professionalism, and community engagement. Enjoy competitive benefits, career advancement opportunities, and the chance to truly impact the safety and well-being of our neighbors. For more information, visit franklintn.gov/joinfpd. That's franklintn.gov/joinfpd.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm Max Winitz, and I am being joined by Chief Deb Faulkner. Welcome to your second appearance on the APB podcast. Can you believe it's been 12 episodes already?
No, it's a good thing. I have a lot of people in the public tell me that they watch it, listen to it, and have learned a great deal, so that makes me very happy.
So in retrospect, it was a good idea.
Oh, I think it's a great idea. I always did, yeah. I mean, this is the way people get their information now. I'm assured of that. So we have a lot of information to share, and we have a good story to tell, so this is a great venue for it.
A lot of topics to discuss with you today, speaking of that story. I know you were completely satisfied and maybe even overwhelmed to see the response that the police department got this last hiring process. There were nearly, 200 applicants, is that right?
Well, it was quite a few, yes.
And that was the most you had seen in a number of years.
Yes.
15 new hires. They begin August 4th. What can you tell us about them?
Well, it's going to be amazing to see that new growth in the department. Not only are we filling any vacancies that we have, but the mayor and board of aldermen have given us some additional spaces, positions to fill, and we're doing that. But yeah, this is a good group, I think. I'm optimistic. 6 of the 15 are what we call lateral officers. They were a police officer somewhere else. They're already certified, they're trained, they have experience, and in fact one is from the New York City Transit Police, and they've already moved here. They live in the Middle Tennessee area. The other 9 are what we call basic candidates. They will have to go through training here at the police department, and then they will go to an academy here in the state of Tennessee. They will go to the academy hopefully in October and graduate in December, and then they'll be in field training. The majority of these young men, and there's one woman, have baccalaureate degrees, and at least 2 have master's degrees. So they're a pretty sharp group of people, and they're very impressive. 4 of them are military veterans, and we work hard to try to encourage military veterans to join the police department. And I think that's a good thing. I don't know if the public has noticed this before, and I don't know if they can see this in my
sure,
hand.
just hold it up.
I'm not, but our officers, right now there are 38, who are military veterans who have served our country, wear a pin on their uniform over here by their name tag, and it says military veteran. And it serves a number of purposes. Number one, I'm proud of that. You might say I was born in the military. I was born at Fort Benning, and my dad served this country proudly. But also, I want the public to see that it's a good opportunity to engage other members who are military veterans. And there was a third reason, and I didn't know if it would happen or not, but officers have told me it already has. And that is when they answer calls for service where someone's having a really bad day, and what's called a psychological emergency, or someone's experiencing PTSD, they will notice that officer responding is a military veteran, and they will know that we understand. And it's really worked as an opportunity to de-escalate someone and build trust. And I think that's a very good thing.
So these individuals will open up more knowing that one of the officers responding is a military veteran as well.
That's what I hoped, and that's what I understand is happening.
Yeah.
Officers have told me that's already happened.
So when you are hiring officers, I know you are heavily involved in the interview process, but what are the qualities you are looking for in a brand new police officer?
I look for confidence. I look for a command presence. I look for someone who has a great deal of empathy for their fellow man, someone who knows a little bit about the Franklin Police Department and the city of Franklin, especially if they're not from here, that they have done their research and they seem committed and passionate about serving the people of Franklin. I think that's extremely important.
Talk about courage, too. I know that's something.
Well, it's hard to interview for that, but it's certainly an important tribute that our officers should have. I'm still working at how you test and find that out. Sometimes it's ultimately once they're tested in field training and they answer a call for service that is dangerous. We ask them questions that try to get to that. You understand that law enforcement is a dangerous job. Have you contemplated that? Have you thought about the fact that you may have to use force in order to help someone else or yourself? And, I can tell that they're very thoughtful about that question, but you never know until you're tested. I know that's the way it was for me as a young woman right out of college. I never knew, but it got tested, and then I knew. And you got to step up to the plate. That the saying that courage is not a lack of fear. It's you have fear, but you don't let it get in the way. You go to the threat and you stop it.
Yeah. All right, so switching gears, we just talked about new hires. Let's talk about some of the new tech that the police department is getting. Very exciting, virtual reality technology for training purposes. What can you tell us about this initiative?
Well, this is a state-of-the-art technology, and it's something that I've wanted for a couple of years, and I really think that's how this generation of law enforcement learns. They're used to playing video games, they're used to technology, they're used to looking at things on their screens, and so I think this is a great way to not only train, but sort of test them. Like I said, it's state-of-the-art, but it offers different scenarios that are truly representative of today's law enforcement. It may be a situation where they have to demonstrate their ability to de-escalate someone who's in crisis. It may be a person who is really having a tough day, and you actually interact with that. I know it's strange to describe, but those people who are watching this who have ever done virtual reality games or different things, they probably know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. it gives us a chance to watch them in a very safe environment and have experienced officers to evaluate them, observe them, and decide whether they've got what it takes or not. But there are scenarios for community engagement and also high incident calls. These are very realistic situations, as realistic as we can get in a controlled environment. But again, it allows us to view their confidence and their ability to deal with very complex situations, which that's what society is these days.
Well, how do you see this technology changing the current way that these officers have been trained, in the past?
I think it's an amazing tool. We already have a simulator. We use it for driving, for pursuit driving and traffic stops, how to learn how to do that. But there are also shoot, don't shoot situations. We not only use it for our officers, but we use it for our Citizens Police Academy, Leadership Franklin. Anytime we have citizens that are in the building and they kind of want to get a feel for what it's like to be a police officer, where you have to make those very split-second decisions that, there's no changing it once you've engaged. But I think this is really the next step. And offering particularly new officers, new trainees, an opportunity to see what it takes and if they've got it or not.
Mm-hmm. The Franklin Police Department has been given the blessing of the city to go ahead, I'm going to get the correct title here, but to hire a Victims Support Coordinator. I know this has been very near and dear to your heart, wanting this for a while now. How beneficial will it be to this department and to crime victims to have somebody in this position?
I really feel like it's an amazing opportunity for us. There are images probably in every police officer's memory that are burned into your soul. You never forget. There are times, even now for myself, when something will generate a memory. And I think about calls that I've experienced when I worked in Nashville. But primarily, these are the faces of people who have suddenly found themselves into a position they never thought they'd be in, and that is a position of being a victim. We have a job to do, and I can remember doing my job, but looking over my shoulder at a family that's literally fallen apart because either they've been harmed or someone they love has been harmed. Nothing prepares you for that, for victimization. So they need help. And I would find myself split between wanting to go over there and just be there for them, but I also had things I had to do.
Sure.
We're crime fighters.
Yeah.
And we need to get to the point of, who did this, why, and let's document it, get it ready for court. There's reports to do, there's witnesses to interview, there's lots to do at the scene of an incident. So my thought is that I believe that law enforcement, particularly the Franklin Police Department, needs to be victim-centered as well as crime fighting. Our response to different calls for service plays a vital role in the stability, the safety, and the healing of crime victims and their loved ones. We play such an important role. We're the first people that they might interact with after something terrible has happened. So after we've had that first contact with someone, and just this morning when I turned the police radio on, the first call I heard was a suicide threat. And I thought, okay, here we go. It's Wednesday morning, yeah. and here it is, and officers responded quickly. But what you say and do in those first moments is so important, and then the follow-up. So this person, which they're not a counselor. They're in our case, we'll probably try to hire a social worker, master's level. But they can provide referral and assistance and get them whatever they need. A lot of people have just moved to Franklin, and they don't really know their way around. They haven't made contacts, I have used an example of a call we had late last year, which was a murder-suicide. And both of the families were from out of state. And they get to Franklin, and it's like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Where's my loved one, and how do I get them back to Indiana or wherever? And where is the medical examiners? I mean, where is all of this, and where are you? And I think the most important thing at that point is information. Where do I get information? What do I do? Help me, advise me. So this person will play a very vital role. While we're doing our job, they can help the families and loved ones get to a place of stability if that's at all possible. And that's my goal for this.
Perfect world. When do you expect this person to start?
This fall.
This fall.
Yes.
Soon.
Yes, very soon. I'm very anxious to get them on board. We have a lot of calls that are welfare checks. We hear them every day, all day long. And again, it's somebody who needs to be checked on. And maybe their family is, again, out of state, and they live alone, and they can't get them to answer the phone. They won't respond to a text message. So could the police go by and check on them? Well, we do. And we did several thousand of those last year. We've done almost that many this year. But the follow-up, to have someone who can maybe call them next week and the next week. How are you doing? This is so-and-so from the Franklin Police Department. We just want to see, is there anything you need that we can get for you? Because we've got resources, and we have contacts in this city, the helping agencies, and we will get them the help they need. So it's the follow-up that I think is very important that we have lacked now. Police officers are doing it, and we make referrals to our churches and other helping agencies. But this is us staying on top of that and really helping that person for the long run.
Yeah.
These are hard times right now. I
Sure.
don't care what people say. I see it, and I feel it, and I want to do more.
So it's hard to believe, but school is starting already in a couple of weeks. What do you want families in Franklin to know about what the police department is doing to ensure that the children in this community are safe and sound?
Well, we've done a couple of things this summer. We always take advantage of the schools being empty to do some training in those schools. And most recently, we were at Franklin High School with our other partners in the county, the Sheriff's Department, Brentwood Police, our police department, fire department, EMS, and emergency management, and we did several exercises. Weekly, we do tabletop exercises. You know, a police chief's worst nightmare is a call of an active shooter in a school. I even hate to have that come out of my mouth. Mm-hmm. Just to think about it makes me tremble a little bit. They are very serious calls. So our officers have been doing tactical training in some of the schools. It gives them the lay of the land. It keeps their tactics sharp. And I also think the school system really appreciates the fact that we're coming into the school and making that a high priority. It is a super high priority. And I will tell you and the public that the way our officers are trained are simply this: go quickly to the threat, get to the threat, and stop it. And that's all you got to remember.
Yeah.
Get quickly there, stop the threat. So that's how they train. We don't wait. We have breaching tools in our cars 24/7. And if that doesn't work, we've got bars on the front of the cars, and we'll tear the front door off. But we will get into the schools. Another thing that we've been doing is getting our school crossing guards good to go, because we're responsible. We're not SROs, but we are responsible for the Franklin schools on the outside for the traffic flow. So we're doing the training, getting their uniforms good to go, and getting that ready. And the public also needs to know that we will have traffic and patrol officers in all of the school zones beginning the week of August the 4th, when school starts, I think the 5th and the 6th, something like that, for full days later that week. But they will be watching for speeders and people who don't yield to the buses, and also distracted drivers. Put your telephones down. It should be hands-free. You can talk all you want to, but keep those hands free and pay attention to what you're doing. So we'll be very aggressive out there. We have zero tolerance for that, particularly in our school zones. It is so important to us to keep our students and our faculty and staff at our schools safe. It's job one for us.
Absolutely. And yeah, you mentioned the traffic. I think a lot of people need a reminder that, school zones start again in just a couple of weeks. So people need to be vigilant and look out for those school zone, blinking lights and stop signs.
Oh,
and all
absolutely. Oh, for heaven's sakes, yeah. Another thing we've been doing with our SWAT team is this is the second time that we have done a certified program with professionals for dignitary protection. We recognize who we are in Franklin. We have a lot of celebrities that live here, a lot of office holders. We have a lot of corporate leaders, and we have a lot of people who have visited us and who will continue to visit us during this political period that we're about to go through with the midterms and other elections. So these officers, and from what I understand, a federal agent actually told me this, that we're the only SWAT team, at least in the state of Tennessee, that is both tactically trained, but also they're trained and certified in dignitary protection. So I think that's important. They do very extensive training in the event that someone is here in Franklin and it is a VIP and needs extra courtesy and protection.
What does that say about this department, the fact that you are investing so much in this specialized high-level training?
Well, the people we serve, it certainly is my opinion, and I think a lot of other people, is that they should expect the best of the best. They should have high quality. I want our officers, particularly in our special operations, to be an elite group of men and women who can be the best that they can be. So we constantly look for best practices and other training that they can have to make them the best. I mean, they've probably seen some of the signs around our boat docks, our boat launches, canoe launches for the water safety. We have an excellent dive and swiftwater team. We have excellent officers that work in our negotiations. We also have an honor guard in the event that there's a special occasion that requires also an elite group of men to represent the city of Franklin and the Franklin Police Department. I think that's important, and I'm a resident of Franklin, so those are my expectations, and it's also the expectations of the officers who wear this badge.
We're almost 8 months into 2025 already. Just until the end of this year, what are your expectations and what do you hope to see happen up until December 31st? Anything you're really looking forward to? You mentioned several things earlier.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to getting these new officers in the patrol cars. And that will happen, as soon as possible. They'll be in field training. They'll see a lot of new faces out there, and that's a good thing. So there's that. We have the holidays that will be coming up soon before we know it. I mean, look how fast this year has gone so far. And so we'll concentrate on retail theft and so on. But also because our demographics, we have a lot of seniors that live here. We want to continue to get the word out so that they're not victimized by fraud. People are very trusting here because this is a God-fearing, patriotic town, and I wouldn't live anywhere else because of that. But we don't want them defrauded because of their faith in humankind. So we will continue to look for ways to engage with the public to get our information out, such as this process. As we get into different seasons of this year, we'll continue to put out messages that we think are related to that time of year and what they need to be on the lookout for and how we can assist them.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention to all of our listeners and viewers right now that if you haven't seen our episode that focused on scams, to go back. That was several weeks ago. It was with Officer Michael Oliver. He gave some great advice. So go ahead and check that out if you would like some tips and tricks on how to avoid becoming a victim of these scams, which, I hear on the scanner almost every day about somebody who received a phone call and unfortunately sent a crook a ton of money.
Yeah, we're not going to call people and ask them for money
No.
at all.
No.
So in doubt, call the police department. We'll set it straight.
Yeah. What has been, and this final question, what has been your proudest moment of the year so far, would you say?
Oh, wow. I'm always proud of our Franklin officers. They do amazing work. I'm constantly tuned in to what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. I don't know. I'm always proud of them. I see the work that they do. I see how compassionate they are. I see how much they care. And that will always be a part of me that's proud of that, because I've seen this profession change in so many ways, and in some places not for the best. But I can truthfully say in Franklin, we care.
Mm-hmm.
And, I talk to the officers on a daily basis. We have 3 that are going to be retiring next year. I mean, not next year, but next week.
Yeah.
After a year of trying to make that decision to no longer be a police officer in the city of Franklin. And one came to visit me this morning, and he's got 3 more days of shift in patrol. And he's happy and he's sad. He got a little teary just thinking about it. And I get it, because he has served this city so proudly. So that makes me happy. But I'll miss him.
Yeah. What about just personal accomplishments, though, over the past 8 months or so? Or even items or initiatives that the department has moved forward on? Is there anything that stands out to you?
I don't ever try to look backwards. I always try to look, months ahead of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I try to think of the next goal and the next thing we need to change or fix or tweak, and that's why we're doing some of the things that we're talking about today. Hiring these young officers, that's almost like an infusion, new energy, new positivity that's coming. That's the future of this city and this law enforcement agency. I'm excited about the work that we've done this summer to prepare for school, and I pray every day that we've done everything that we need to. I'm constantly talking to my colleagues and other chiefs to get best practices so that we're always on our toes and doing the best job that we can. And I listen to the public, what we can do for them, what they hear and what they see and what they expect, and whether we can meet that expectation or not. It's important. The job we have, a lot falls on our shoulders, and we get it, but we rise to the occasion.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. Is there anything else at all that you want to add that I didn't ask you about?
No, I would just encourage anyone who watching this, if they have suggestions on how we can do better, if there's something going on in their community. We have a new PIO that's coming on board with Police Officer 2, Marty Carson. He's already been introduced to the public in one of our other podcasts, but I had talked to him about reaching out to some of our HOAs and other community groups that would like a speaker or would like more information, or just to let us come and listen to them. I think that's important.
Yeah.
We serve the public. We need to know what the public wants from us.
Exactly. All right, Chief Deb Faulkner, thank you again. Hope to have you on in a few more weeks.
All right, thanks, Max.
Appreciate it. And thank you at home for watching. We will see you next time, and stay safe, everybody.